The story begins with a young man named June, a social worker who spends most of his time helping people in need. Although he has a massive following on social media, nobody has ever seen his face. June prefers to stay anonymous, quietly doing good deeds while working various odd jobs. However, with his financial situation becoming increasingly difficult, he is now searching for a stable, full-time job. His close friend Soon is in a similar position. While looking for steady work, Soon dreams of becoming a detective someday. One evening, the two friends meet a cheerful young woman who lives in the same building. She dreams of becoming an actress and quickly strikes up a friendly conversation with them. Before leaving, she warmly exchanges phone numbers with both of them. Later that night, the young woman receives a message from a mysterious account belonging to someone named Arish. The conversation begins innocently enough when he asks her about the purpose of her life. But as they continue talking, the messages take a disturbing turn. One particular message catches her attention. It reads, "All of this effort is just an illusion." That same night, the woman also sends a message to June. For reasons unknown, he never opens it and doesn't reply. The following day, June visits a psychologist named Miss Park. Much like him, she dedicates her life to helping others and even offers free counseling sessions to those who cannot afford them. After spending some time talking with her, June takes a photo of her stroller and uploads it to his social media page, encouraging anyone struggling in life to seek her help. Later that evening, Soon arrives at the apartment building to meet June. As he approaches, he notices something strange. A man holding a camera appears to be secretly photographing someone nearby. The moment Soon notices him, the mysterious man quickly leaves without a word. Although the incident feels suspicious, Soon brushes it aside and heads upstairs to meet his friend. During their conversation, June mentions the message he received from their neighbor the previous night. She had apparently wanted to meet him and ask for help, but he ignored the message. Soon immediately tells him that he should have responded. Moments later, their discussion is interrupted by shocking news. The young woman has committed suicide. The revelation hits June harder than anyone else. Guilt begins consuming him almost immediately. He becomes convinced that if he had simply answered her message and offered help, she might still be alive. After the police finish their investigation, June secretly enters the woman's room and starts examining her online accounts, desperate to understand what happened. While searching through her messages, he discovers a conversation with a mysterious account known as Anish's Girl. The final messages exchanged before her death are deeply unsettling. The more June reads, the more convinced he becomes that these messages somehow pushed her towards suicide. He shares his findings with Soon, explaining that the strange account may have played a direct role in her death. Soon afterward, the mysterious account begins messaging them as well. They demand answers and ask what happened to their neighbor. The response they receive is chilling. The account claims that it did nothing and insists that the girl was taken by the goddess of death, a force from which no one can escape. The eerie replies only strengthen their suspicions. Determined to uncover the truth, June and Soon report everything to a detective. Unfortunately, the detective dismisses their concerns. According to the official investigation and post-mortem reports, the woman committed suicide and no criminal activity was involved. To him, the case is already closed. Refusing to accept that answer, June and Soon decide to investigate on their own. They believe uncovering the truth is the only way they can honor the girl's final cry for help. To learn more about the mysterious account, they seek assistance from a skilled hacker. Although the hacker is unable to trace the account's exact location because of sophisticated protection methods, he does uncover something terrifying. Everyone who receives messages from Arish seems to die within a day or two. The pattern is impossible to ignore. June and Soon begin to suspect that they are dealing with a psychotic serial killer who somehow manipulates people into ending their own lives without leaving behind any evidence. As they dig deeper into the mystery, another disturbing detail emerges. The same suspicious man with the camera continues watching them from a building across the street, secretly taking photographs of their every move. Now completely confused and desperate for answers, June and Soon decide to return to the only person who might help them understand what is really happening, psychologist Miss Park. June and Sun immediately question Miss Park about something that has been disturbing them from the beginning. They ask whether it is truly possible for someone to use nothing but words to push another person to the point of taking their own life. Miss Park does not deny it. Instead, she says that if a person has a deep understanding of psychology, they can manipulate someone's emotions and thoughts in a dangerous way. She also warns them to stay away from people like that. Her answer frightens them even more. After leaving her office, they meet one of June's friends, who works as an online broadcaster. They explain everything to him, including the disturbing pattern they have discovered. Anyone who receives messages from Arish Gill's account ends up dead within a short time. After hearing this, June's friend becomes serious and tells them that this information must be broadcast to the public immediately, so as many lives as possible can be saved. Just as they are about to leave, they receive a call from Nouri, the hacker who had helped them earlier. She asks them to come to her office at once. When they arrive, Nouri reveals something terrifying. She too has received a message from Arish Gill's account. Somehow, Arish has found out that they are trying to track him down. And now, he has sent Nouri the same question he sends to his victims. He asks her, "What is your purpose in life?" Nouri then tells them something even more disturbing. She says she is sure someone is watching them at that very moment. Her words make June and Sun panic, not only for themselves, but also for Nouri's safety. When they step outside, they notice the same boy on top of the building opposite them, secretly taking pictures again. They had seen him several times before and had even tried to catch him once, but he managed to escape. This time, they quickly call Nouri and warn her that the boy is on the roof of her building. Nouri rushes upstairs and finally catches him. Together, they drag him back inside and begin questioning him. After being slapped a few times, the boy finally confesses. He says that everything he is doing is for Arish. He does not know Arish personally, but one day he received a message from that account. Arish knew hidden things about him, secrets he had never told anyone. Using those secrets, Arish began blackmailing him and forcing him to spy on people. At first, June and Sun feel a little sorry for him, but then the boy says something that completely changes their reaction. He admits that apart from being blackmailed, secretly watching and photographing people is also his personal hobby. Hearing this, June and Sun lose control and start beating him, but Nouri quickly stops them before things go too far. After hearing the boy's story, they realize that the person they caught is not as innocent or simple as he first seemed. He is deeply involved in Arish's twisted game. But before they can investigate further, they receive a call from the detective the next morning. This time, the detective has news that seems like a relief. He tells them that several people have filed complaints against Arish Gill. Because of that, the police finally launched an investigation. They managed to trace his address and went to arrest him. But when they reached his house, Arish was already dead. According to the detective, he had committed suicide before the police could catch him. Hearing this, June finally breathes a sigh of relief. The detective tells him there is no need to worry anymore. He advises June to stop acting like a detective and focus on finding a proper job. That night, June tells Sun and Nouri everything the detective said. But Nouri is not convinced. She says she cannot believe that someone as dangerous and powerful as Arish Gill would simply take his own life so easily. And soon, Nouri's suspicion proves to be right. That night, while Nouri is sleeping, she receives another message from Arish Gill's account. At the same time, we are shown a mysterious man standing near the sea. His face is not revealed, but one thing becomes clear. The real Arish Gill is still alive. Meanwhile, June's broadcaster friend calls him with urgent news. The so-called dead Arish Gill has now been exposed online, and the broadcaster is planning a massive live broadcast about him. Thousands of children are expected to watch it. The moment June and Sun hear this, they understand the danger. Arish Gill is not targeting one person anymore. He is preparing to target thousands of children at once. They immediately decide to contact Nouri because she is the only one who can stop the broadcast through hacking. But when Sun calls her, Nouri answers in a strange and weak voice. She tells him that she does not want to work on this case anymore. Sun immediately senses the pain in her voice and realizes something is terribly wrong. Without wasting a second, Sun takes June and rushes to Nouri's place. When they arrive, their worst fear comes true. Nuri has attempted suicide. June and Sun arrive just in time to save Nuri and immediately call an ambulance. But even after reaching the hospital, her condition remains critical. Her life is still hanging by a thread, and the guilt only pushes June and Sun deeper into the case. With no other option left, they go back to June's broadcaster friend and use his YouTube platform to make another live broadcast. This time, they openly challenge Arish Gill in front of everyone. The person who steps forward to face him is Sun. But the moment Arish responds, Sun is completely shaken. Arish knows things about Sun that he has never shared with anyone. Secret after secret comes out through the messages, and Sun slowly loses control of himself. The more Arish speaks, the more helpless Sun becomes. It is almost as if Arish has entered his mind and hypnotized him through words. June, who is also watching the live broadcast, immediately realizes that something is wrong. He rushes to Sun's side and finds him in a terrible state, moments away from taking his own life. June acts quickly and manages to stop him just in time. By pulling him out of Arish Gill's psychological trap, June saves Sun's life. After this, June visits Nuri at the hospital. Nuri tells him that when she was talking to Arish Gill, it felt as if someone else had taken control of her entire life. His words affected her thoughts so negatively that everything around her felt meaningless. She says she was pushed to the point where suicide felt like the only option. Even now, Nuri is unable to fully process what happened to her. Although she no longer wants to think about the case, Nuri still wants to help June save others. She gives him an envelope and tells him that whatever is inside it will help him reach Arish Gill. June takes the envelope and leaves, but on his way home, he quickly realizes that several people are following him. June understands that these are Arish Gill's men, sent to stop him before he can uncover the truth. As he desperately tries to escape, Detective Ko suddenly appears in front of him. June immediately explains that people are chasing him and trying to harm him. But instead of helping, Detective Ko pulls out a gun and points it directly at June. June is shocked. Detective Ko then kidnaps him and takes him to a strange, hidden location. There, the truth is finally revealed. Detective Ko had also become one of Arish Gill's victims. Arish knew secrets about him that could destroy his entire career, and because of that, Detective Ko was forced to obey him. The detective also admits that the news about Arish Gill's death was a lie. He spread that false information only to make June stop investigating the case. But when June refused to give up, Detective Ko had no choice but to take stronger action. The surprising part is that even Detective Ko does not know who Arish Gill really is. But June already knows the truth. The envelope Nuri gave him contains Arish Gill's real identity, and the person behind the account is none other than Miss Park, the same psychologist who had been meeting June all along as if she were a savior. Before June can even ask her anything, Miss Park begins revealing her motive. She reminds June of something that happened 3 years ago. Back then, June had posted a negative review about a restaurant because he did not like the food there. Since thousands of people followed him online, his review spread quickly. People began criticizing the restaurant, and an investigation soon followed. During the investigation, it was discovered that the raw ingredients supplied to that restaurant were spoiled. The company that supplied those ingredients belonged to Miss Park's father. After the scandal, people started spreading several negative stories about the company. The business collapsed completely, and unable to bear the shame and loss, her father took his own life. Miss Park blames June for everything. She tells him that the day her father died, she decided to take revenge, but she did not want to kill June quickly. She wanted him to suffer slowly. She wanted him to experience a life surrounded only by guilt, fear, and death. That is why she created an online identity named Arish Gill. Through that account, she began targeting the people around June. She manipulated his friends, destroyed their minds, and created a world where every direction June looked, he would only see death. Miss Park finally reveals the full extent of her plan. She explains that she used specially selected music during her broadcasts to make people more vulnerable to suggestion. Combined with her deep knowledge of psychology, she manipulated her victims through conversations and slowly filled their minds with hopelessness, fear, and self-destructive thoughts. Over time, those negative emotions became so overwhelming that many of them felt they had no reason to continue living. All of this had started as a revenge plot against a single person, but in her obsession, Miss Park had ended up destroying countless innocent lives. Hearing this, June can no longer stay silent. He asks her how many innocent people had to die just so she could take revenge on him. He questions whether any of this could truly be called justice. Miss Park admits that she no longer knows the answer. She says that once she was an ordinary person, but after her father's death, the hatred inside her slowly transformed her into a monster. The grief that consumed her eventually led her down a path where innocent lives became nothing more than collateral damage. June lowers his head and sincerely apologizes. He tells her that when he posted that review years ago, he never imagined it would lead to such devastating consequences. He never intended for anyone to lose their life. His only goal had been to expose a problem so it could be fixed. He genuinely believed the company would correct its mistakes and move forward. Instead, everything spiraled into tragedy. Realizing that nothing can undo the past, June tells Miss Park that if she truly wants revenge, she should end it now and kill him. But Miss Park refuses. She says that her plan is not finished yet. Then she sends a message to someone and reveals that Soon's life is still in danger. At that very moment, a group of people arrives and attacks Soon. They brutally beat him and leave him badly injured. It seems like he is about to become another victim of Miss Park's deadly game. But just before the attackers can finish him off, Nouri arrives and steps in to save him. For the first time, we discover that Nouri is far more than just a talented hacker. She is also an exceptionally skilled fighter. Taking on the attackers herself, she manages to protect Soon and save his life. Meanwhile, Miss Park prepares for one final broadcast. Even now, she intends to manipulate and destroy countless more lives. June rushes to stop her and begs her not to continue, but Miss Park refuses to listen. She believes she still has control over the situation. That is when June reveals his final move. He calmly tells her that she can continue the broadcast if she wants, but it no longer matters. Earlier, he had hidden a spy camera inside his shirt button. Everything Miss Park confessed, every crime she admitted to, and every detail of her plan had already been streamed live for the entire world to see. Her real identity has now been exposed. The moment Miss Park realizes her game is over, she loses all hope. Desperate to escape the consequences of her actions, she attempts to take her own life by jumping from where she is standing. But June had already anticipated this possibility. The police were waiting nearby and had prepared a large safety cushion below. They quickly rescue her before she can die and immediately place her under arrest. With Miss Park finally captured, the nightmare comes to an end. June, Soon, and Nouri survive the ordeal. Together, they have prevented a catastrophe and saved thousands of innocent lives. To the public, they become heroes and saviors. But June refuses to accept praise without telling the whole truth. Using his social media account, he openly shares everything that happened. He explains that the chain of events began years ago when he exposed a restaurant, which eventually contributed to Miss Park's father taking his own life. He admits that while Miss Park was responsible for the murders, his actions unintentionally played a role in the tragedy that started it all. Even after learning the truth, June's followers do not abandon him. In fact, many respect him even more for being honest and taking responsibility for his mistakes. Despite everything he has endured, June continues helping people and remains a source of hope for those who follow him. As time passes, June, Soon, and Nouri finally move forward with their lives, leaving the nightmare behind them. And with that, the movie comes to an end.